Hey YouTube, peace reflections, good energy to all, and well earthly being here. So, uh, got my phone hooked up to the solar panel here. I don't know if y'all can see it. Maybe. Oh well. Yeah, it's the world we live on. We we're dependent on technology. To do so many things. We've become dependent on the thing that is destroying us. I'm just really getting hit with the reality right now. Out here trying to hike all over the place with this pack. All these people are driving around in cars, living in all these houses. And little old Anwell is just trying to be some type of a organic change, example, messenger, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And it's such an emotional feeling. I feel so alive, but I also feel so separated. This is, it's a test of my faith, I know it. Everything's actually going pretty well. My body isn't too sore. My breathing's good. I've accumulated to the altitude pretty well. I've had countless, I've had a lot of wildlife. I saw a wolf today. It was cool. You know what I mean? He kept on trotting. Bigger wolf. I think it was a wolf. It might have been a fox. But then a few days before, I saw a javelina. He ran off. He scattered off pretty quick. But I just like seeing them. I got deer all over the place. Uh, Birds flying all around, especially in the morning. But yeah, there's nothing like human company. There's your own kind. It's in, human beings. We're tribes, tribe animals. We thrive off tribes. We vibe with our tribe. We live with our tribe. I don't know where I fit in. Maybe I don't fit in anywhere. I don't know. And based on the information that I know, law of attraction, cause and effect. I know everything that happens to you is your own creation, is your own manifestation, your own karma. So all this sadness, all this melancholy, all this pain and pleasure. There is a lot of pleasure out here. It's all because of me. I drew it to myself. It's just ironic to there's a lot of talk about the 144,000, the so-called chosen ones, divine beings, higher vibrational entities, good, kind, loving human beings, whatever you want to call them. You know, who knows? Maybe I'm one of them. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. But you know, it would seem logical and with good accordance with divine mathematics that some way, shape, or form we're going to have to link up. You know, more than internet comments and messages and phone calls and Skype sessions. I mean, that's like you know baby level communication. That's just if you think about the attention that gets compared to the attention that we pay to all our jobs and hobbies, indulgences, whatever have you. It's such a small amount. It's not enough. Nothing is assured. The human race could. I mean, it's. And there's so much kindness. There still is. I mean, I see it. I mean, in some people, it's there. The soul is still breathing. The soul is yearning for something different. But it does take a true, when I say true, high level of sacrifice, intent, and willingness to cooperate with one another, to compromise, to learn to love each other, to understand. Master teacher, he talks a lot about love as understanding, and it's understanding, inner, and overstanding. He is correct. You know, um, and we all come from different backgrounds. Essentially, we all have different astrological patterns and souls that placed us in different places. Yet, for the most part, we all have the same goal, the same drive. We just have different frequencies of energy based on the experiences that we have. But essentially, our higher self is, it's in all of us, and it is geared towards that all love, that higher level of existence. The lighter realms, the lovelier realms, the less dense realms, dimensions. And then in these realms, these higher realms, this is where I feel our so-called gods live. If you think about it, what would I'm just using my imagination here, but what would a higher dimensional entity, what would be his job? What would be his duty? What would be something to teach him, something to pressure him, something to challenge him? What would be the obstacle that a higher dimensional being would have to endure and successfully navigate to move on? Essentially, it's the same job that those of us chosen here have to do, to teach those less aware, to help those less able, to teach those less learned. So, there's a lot of talk about atheism and, religion and who is God, what is God. It's and this, it's all, there's different levels of gods, different levels of sentient beings, of awareness. You have those that are in the ether realm, looking down on us, And there's us who are more sentient and able, aware, here, in a human form. There's different frequencies of humans, there's different vibrational realities existing in all of us. And if things were to get really messy in a situation or on a planet, have you, it would make sense that there's only so much, like in a video game. Like if you get to the next level, you're in the next level. That separates you from the level below you. So if you wanted to, if you had to, or there was a need to help out the lower level, you would have to go backwards. You would have to essentially burden yourself, weigh yourself down, manifest into the matter. Essentially, this is where I think a lot of us, there's a lot of talk about amnesia, not remembering past lives, and becoming awake is a process. It doesn't, we're not just born awake. We're born into this reality and we learn. We absorb, we learn, we remember, we forget. Remember, we forget, we experience, we learn, and depending on our ability to continue to learn new things, different things, and to keep a high moral compass, this is what dictates your level of awakeness, your level of awareness. So, going back to just, a lot of us do come from a higher dimensional reality, a higher vibrational realm, a frequency of essential love, and that's all it is. It's just an exchange of beautiful emotions and happiness and joy and bliss, heaven. And we came from heaven down here to hell because there's a situation here, there's an issue, there is learning, there is a challenge, there is friction in the universe between good and evil, positive and negative energy, and as above, so below. And when like a chain link, the chain's only as strong as if one link is weak, then it affects the whole chain's integrity. And if everything is really connected, then what happens to one could essentially shatter or send a reverberating negative effect towards everything. If you get one crack in a glass, that crack can spread, especially if more negative pressure is applied to the force of impact. So, and essentially, this is what I see happening here on Earth, as above, so below. Earth is a giant radiating source of energy, and because of the nature of things on it, it is radiating a lot of negative energy, and it is emitting this energy throughout the surrounding area in the universe. Literally other dimensions existing right here in front of us, in the very now, all around here, are being affected by everything that we do. This is why it is so important to what you choose to pay your attention to, because it really makes a difference, not just for your own well-being and your physical immediate receptive reality, but also for the ethers, for the other realms above and below. And there's consequences for everything. There's consequences for everything. So Sorry, I know this is kind of I'm not as high energy video as I like to make, but this is the mood I'm in, and this is a being that oddball, being that different one, being that changeling that seeks to spread a new way, a new method, a new pattern of living, an alternate lifestyle that has boundless positive effects, is, very well could be the thing that helps balance out, the insanity here. But, for all of us beings, it's in its nature, Satan's nature, to challenge us, those of us who know the knowledge and have the desire. It has to challenge us. That's how energy works. Anytime anything begins to rise up, it's always going to be met with obstacles. There's always another level, new devil. And it's important to remind, if for myself you know, I can get lost in my own suffering, and I forget that it is absolutely necessary. It is completely natural for it to exist. It is physical. It is part of physics. There's no way getting out of it. Everyone before me and anyone that comes after will go through the same thing in their own way, but you can't escape it. This is why, and the longer you wait, the older you get, the weaker you are, the harder it's going to become. And, once we start, this is also why it's so important to start linking up, because it's like Satan can't attack everybody at once. That's just too much energy. If we're together, that's a bond, that's a glue, that's like an adhesive, or an advantage we'll have, because we have so much energy. And when one person is feeling down, somebody else more than likely is going to be feeling up, and you can help fluctuate each other. You can help bounce back positive emotions. You can help reflect on what's going on. You can help a reflection get out of his head. Like, yo, stick to the goal, focus. Don't go too deep into yourself. You can go too deep, especially on your own, and that can be an imbalance in itself. And I know we're all still learning as to how this is going to play out. We're all still figuring out how, the future is uncertain. There's certain things that one can predict based on patterns and momentum and consequence, but yeah, essentially we're all walking into the unknown every single moment. And especially with the chances, that the risks, the pains that we're causing to the earth and to ourselves. This has all got to come back. It's all got to come back. And the docile ones, the ones that, for whatever reason, are content. It's a yeah. I mean, that contentment is an ignorance. That is a neglect. If you have a soul, there's no way you can't feel, see, hear, smell, taste, sense what's going on. And Satan wants, the thing that thrives off of pain, off of suffering, off of negativity, off of neglect, off of weakness, off of ignorance, is going to want as many as it can to be docile, as many as it can to be content, as many as it can to be quiet, because it knows that is a sin. When you know something's wrong and you don't do anything about it, that's a big sin. And then on top of that, you're continuing to perpetuate a negative system, an imbalanced system, an evil, backwards way of life. It's got to come back, and this is where, reincarnation, and it's like, you may not even be reincarnated as a human again. Excuse me, but there's a lot of, or, perhaps you will, but it'll just be a really, really, really bad human life. I mean, some people's lives are horrible. Like, they go through really, really crazy atrocities, and they all drew it to themselves. You know, that's a really hard concept to appreciate to its full, its complete truth, because that means, I mean, anything that, I mean, even if you get raped or whatever, happens to you, it happened to you because you deserved it. And that's that's a hard pill to swallow, and it's taken me a long time to really rationalize that, because for a while I was looking at like all these pedophile rings and stuff, and it's like, how is this happening? Like, it's like, how would a God, an Almighty, allow like these kids to get raped by these sick adults? And then you learn about the law of attraction and cause and effect, and that means that they they drew it to them. They did something bad, and this is why these people, they keep on repeating themselves. They keep on raping, and then it's like, you get raped, and then you grow up wanting to rape, and then you just keep on doing it. They just keep on raping each other, raping each other, raping each other, and it's an endless cycle of hell and pain and suffering. And who knows? I mean, the consequence. I mean, it's a spiraling downward. Once you start to spiral downward, you lose good momentum. And that's a scary thing, and it's a very hard thing to get back. And it's only going to get harder and harder as time goes on, because I feel like things are getting, I don't even want them to. I want to live happy. I want to live peacefully. I want to just love. I want to just be merry and not have to deal with all these demons and crazy energies. I mean, I really don't want to be some fear monger or spread any type of panic, but it feels like things are, I mean, they're very serious now. But at the same time, you don't want that seriousness to sadden you, because that sadness can leave room for infiltration, and it can lead you to your lower self, because you're gonna find it's pain, and nobody likes feeling pain, really. We're always looking for ways to alleviate pain, and when you alleviate your pain, you're really just making the pain worse, or creating a new pain, which is only adding to that pain. There is a lesson to be learned for every pain you're going through. And the more you alleviate it, the more you disservice the lesson. So, here's what it is. I think I'm going to shut this down pretty quick. I don't want to bring the mood down, but it's the truth, man. Doing this thing, detaching, being that different one, bearing that cross, whatever you want to call it, is painful. It's extremely painful, and and this is why, being pure, eating the right foods, not indulging, not feeding your lower self, not putting negative subjective material into your mind. If you're going to take that walk into faith, you really need to give yourself the best success. You're really going to want to have as clean a body and mind and spirit as you can, because especially when you begin to really speak these things and do these things, you're going to get attacked, you're going to get tested, you're going to be met with many challenges. And the more toxins you have, both in your body and your mind and your spirit, the harder it's going to be to positively continue on. So, You know, I obviously haven't, you know, I have not treated my body the best for a long time, and it's making this very difficult. So, but you know, this is what needs. I drew this to myself, and knowing what I know, I don't. Going back doesn't feel right either. You know, I'm not sure what does other than just to continue on, just make it through this day, make it through the next day, keep keep my mind open for good things. They are there, and keep moving too. It's another thing I noticed. Like whenever you feel that funkiness, you gotta just do something positive and productive, even if it's just some simple goal. Like I'm just gonna walk to this tree and just see what happens on my way there. You'd be surprised. Stuff pops out of nowhere. I met a really kind human being yesterday, just walking into Prescott, and he was like, hey, you know, and it was like family. You know what I mean? So these things are out there, and remember that too. Like when you're getting tested, when the negativity is hitting you hard, just remember the universe will balance it out with positivity. You know, and you're going to receive it in more in abundance the more you embrace that hard moment with strength and integrity. And you know you stay strong, and you stick your ground, and you stay true to your word. The pain won't last as long. It won't be as intense. And you know, so yeah, that's just my two bits for today. Again, you know, hope I didn't bring anybody's mood down too much, but you know, this is just documentation. So that being said, I love myself. I love you guys, and have a good day. All right, goodbye.